So we're going to be going through the charts again for this new week, and I'm going to be sharing with you guys my thoughts and what you should be looking out for. Now, last week was an interesting one. We shared with you guys our thoughts, and like we always say, we're usually spot on with our analysis. So if you're a Go trader, make sure you watch this video to the end, as we're going to be sharing with you our thoughts. Now, last week, let's be fast with this. Last week we told you guys the levels to look out for buys from, right? We marked out these levels, and we told you, in fact, at first I said gold could come down to this 50% level of the week and then push up from there. But then I advised that you shouldn't take that trade because I don't see that holding that gold would actually drop down to this other level that I was seeing here, which happened to be around the 76% weekly fib, and marked out with this whole entire area. And as you can see, there was an engulfer here, so it pushed down into that zone. You could have got in here when you saw the opportunity. You could have kept a wider stop loss of this, or had a tighter stop loss if you know how to enter on a smaller time frame, like I do sometimes. But if you're trading a high capital, you could actually use a wider stop loss and all that, depending on what you're trading anyway. So depending on the account you're using. So anyway, if you didn't get in from here, you had an opportunity right here, you had an opportunity right here, and you had an opportunity right here, right? So the week, that was it, and gold played out as I expected, as we said. Now I also gave on our Telegram. If you've not joined the Telegram, make sure to go join the Telegram right now. As the week continued, I shared this other setup and told him this is how I'm seeing gold move till we get to 5,000, right? And as you can see, gold seemed to even moves almost exactly as I expected, right? So let's delete all this. So in this new week, what are we going to be looking out for now? That's what we're going to be sharing with you guys. All right, so let's start from the higher time frame like we always do. Now we'll go to the monthly, and there a couple of things I'm going to share with you and let you guys see, all right, to understand what's happening on gold. Now looking at gold, we can see that, like we always say, gold is generally bullish, right? But we can see that the month of March closed very bearish, right? And as you can see, the month of April is green, right? So what I think will happen in this chart is gold, the month of April will most likely close green, right? And we might actually reach 5,000, okay? And then once the month closes in the month of May, we might start to see a decline or consolidation before we now see a major drop back down to probably 4,000, right? That's what I'm thinking. Okay, so that's what I think might happen. I'm not sure gold is going to go up and create a new all-time high. I'm not sure about that yet. Let's go down to the weekly now. Let's see what things are looking like. Now on the weekly, we're going to mark out the weekly percent fib, and we're going to mark out different levels, right, that we're going to be taking note of. I think we need this one now. We're going to mark out different levels that we're going to be taking note of on the weekly. Let's mark out the 50% weekly fib. Okay, so that's the 50% weekly fib. Now the next thing we're going to mark out here, all right, is we're going to mark out the key level on this weekly chart, this key level here. So we've marked that out. Then we go to the daily. Now looking at the daily, there's something else we're going to mark out. We're going to mark out the 76% weekly fib level, right? Because we'll come to that later. So now looking at the daily, we're going to mark out the 50 fib. I think there's no need because price is already around that 50% fib level, right? So we're going to mark out this other level. Now, and this is where I said price is now beginning to give me this mixed feeling about going really up, right, to the all-time high, because like I said, I expect a drop from 5,000. In fact, exactly 5,000 or 4,990, right? But the way the daily close, now the daily close like a bullish engulfer, and a bullish engulfer has not happened so long on the daily. And most times when there's a bullish engulfer on the daily, you happen to see a major rally to the upside, right? So that's why it's giving me this mixed feeling that gold might actually want to rally upwards, right? But looking at the overall chart, the higher time frame, like from the monthly, you can tell that I'm not sure that will happen. Okay, so but anyway, let's just continue, let's just see. So I'm still expecting a drop from 5,000, but the daily is just giving me that mix in this daily candle that just formed very bullish, right? That formed like an engulfing candle, right? But even though it has this massive rejection upwards, so I'm trying to be very fast. I don't want this to be more than 7 minutes, but time is already done. Now we've marked out this key level right here. What we're going to do is we're going to now go to the 4-hour. So things now becoming clearer. All right. So looking at the 4-hour, you see this support right here. Let's extend it. Okay. We're going to mark the 76, this other level. We marked out these key levels, right? So what I will now be looking out for is for price to come down into these key levels, and from there we're going to be buying. It's as simple as that. All right. So let's go to the 1 hour. So we'll mark out something. Now on the 1 hour, we can see a level here. There's this level right here. We'll be expecting for price to come down into this level. If you've watched some of my videos on my YouTube, you understand why we'll be expecting price to come down into this level. The strategy that I use most times. Okay, so you can go watch the videos. Look for trading strategy and other stuff, not just the analysis I put up. There's some videos there. Maybe I'll put a link in the video later on. So we've marked out that level. Then let's look here also. So good. So we've marked out these three trend lines and support levels, right? So as you can see, these are looking like, all these levels now that we marked out are looking like key levels, right? So there's a tendency for price to come into those zones and push up. Now let's go back to the 4-hour. I'm literally showing you how to, you see, interpret this. So this is what I see that could happen now that we've marked out everything. All right, this is what I see that could happen. First of all, we could expect price to come down into this level right here and give us a push up, continue to the upside. Now, but the problem, like I said, with this is gold is looking like it wants to drop. In fact, you have to be very careful because gold is looking like it wants to drop. Now, if you look at this whole rejections happening on the daily, price just failed to break above. It just keeps giving rejection. If you look on the daily, these are rejection right here, right? So it's looking risky. In fact, I tried to catch the sell from here, but I didn't quite catch it because it didn't give me what I was looking for. But anyway, you need to be very careful, right? But because gold could drop at any moment. But I expect that gold should reach 5,000 before we start seeing that drop. But the way gold is acting, right? So, but still, we can still see a very good opportunity from here to buy from, right? So gold could come into that zone and then we start buying from there. Makes a whole lot of sense. But if this level, in fact, I think this level could hold, but there's a reason I feel it might not hold, right? If this level doesn't hold, then we should be looking for gold to come back down, even much lower. And it might be funny enough, gold might do exactly what it did last week, create a gap downwards and then come into this level, let's say around 4,720 level, yes, and then push up from there. That could happen as well. Gold could come down into 4,720 level and push up from there. So that's what I think will happen. All right, so it's either this level holds. If this level doesn't hold, then it could come down lower, much lower into this level, and it makes sense. It makes sense. It makes good sense. All right, so this is just what I'm just going to be looking out for. All right, this is just what I'm going to be looking out for. One could also say this level could be respected for 750 possible, right? Since we have this level right here, but I think we should just remove this for now. I think this is what we should look at. Right, so gold could come down into this zone and push it from there. So these are the two levels I'm going to be looking to buy from. Now if that happens, then we know we're probably going to be going up to 5,000, and then from there we'll probably be looking for ourselves. So that's just what I'm going to be looking out for in this new week. I hope you guys understand this. If you have any questions, do ask in the comment section. And don't forget to subscribe and like this video, right? You know, I've told you I've not been feeling so well, but I do try to come out here to just share with you guys my thoughts and everything. So that's it for this analysis. So have a wonderful week, guys. Bye.